Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and today I have a co-host who is...
Nathaniel,
and Nathaniel is home today. And do you know what day it is today in England?
Mother's Day.
It's their Mother's Day today, so I get to have some cuddle time, even though it's not Mother's Day here. In May, it's Mother's Day here, but I get to have some cuddle time with you today. What happened today, early this morning? And that's why you're home with me today.
My dad let me stay home.
How come?
Because it was time change.
The time change happened today. And so you are a grumpy morning person, aren't you? Like me? So Dad let you stay home with me today. And we're going to co-host the podcast. Yay! Now, are you going to take over, are you?
Yes.
Okay, and what are you going to talk about today?
Let's start with tea time.
Not yet. We have to do our welcomes first. And we have to tell a little bit about the weather. What's the weather out today?
It's enough for the ice cream truck.
It is not time for the ice cream truck to come by yet. It's not warm enough yet.
It is warm enough.
It's only March.
It's warm enough.
Okay, well, it is not, as far as I'm concerned, warm enough for the ice cream truck to come yet. But soon, in the next maybe in a month, the ice cream truck will start making some appearances. But what is the weather like out today? Tell everybody, is it gray? Is it, what color? What
Blue.
The sky is blue. It is sunny out today. Mm-hmm. It might be kind of warm, but we haven't gone outside yet, have we? Mm-hmm. Only Scout has gone outside.
No, and Dad and Isaac and me.
You went outside too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And was it warm?
Yeah.
Yeah? Warm enough for the ice cream truck?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's say where people can find me. Do you know who I am on Ravelry? No. I am Tracy RR on Ravelry. And who am I on Instagram, Nathaniel?
Comfy Red Couch.
That's right. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. This is a podcast where I talk about knitting. We have a little bit of a chance to have some tea together, and I talk about some of the things that I've gotten up to over the past week. And if you're new, this is Nathaniel. I have another son, Isaac, who is much older, and I'll talk a little bit about him later, probably. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope that you have your tea and your project of choice, and that you're ready to sit down and have some lovely crafting time, and that you're ready for some of Nathaniel's antics, because they are bound to happen, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we've already determined that it is not warm enough weather for ice cream, but it is perfect weather for what, Nathaniel? Tea. So it's now tea time. Let's get our beautiful mugs. And I have my lovely mug that says Tracy with an E, and Nathaniel has his lovely mug that says Nathaniel with an AEL. And these were sent to us by the lovely Tracy of Nora George Yarns. And today we are drinking what, Nathaniel?
Rose lemonade.
Rose lemonade tea from Taylor's of Harrogate. And in fact, because it's not just me today, I made a pot in the Princess Teapot. And you'd like a little bit more because you've been sipping away at yours, haven't you?
Yeah.
So it is now don't drink any yet, because of course, first, before we drink our tea, we want to say what to everybody?
Cheerio.
Or cheers. And this is a lovely tea that I think is perfect for UK Mother's Day. It smells really beautiful, and I think Nathaniel has been gobbling it up, and if I'm not careful, I'm not going to get much. So, cheers, and let's get started talking about some knitting and sewing. Is that good? Yum. This week I made a date with my sewing machine, and I finished off my lovely Sally dress. And who is this for, Nathaniel?
My cousin Violet.
It's for Violet. And all I had to do last week was press down the seam here, and then I had to do a hem around the bottom of the dress. So last night, that is exactly what I did. And this is cotton and steel material. It's called From Porto with Love, and this is the Evora Black. And I think it is just the most adorable fabric with the pink castles and the blue stars and the little moons. And I have enough of this material that I can make myself a dress, and I'm hoping to make something really, really flowy like this because I am in love with this fabric, and it is just such a cute dress. So this will be heading to Violet along with some beautiful butterfly clips, and I think this would be a perfect Easter dress, don't you think so? Which is coming up, so we'll have to make a date to go and visit your cousins and pass this along to Cousin Violet, who I think will look absolutely adorable, adorable, adorable in this dress. I still think it's going to be a little bit big on her, but we will...
Because it fits me.
It fits you. How do we know it fits you?
We tried it on me.
Did I try it on you yesterday? Was that mean of me to make you try it on? And did you look really pretty in it?
Okay, yeah.
The other thing I did in terms of sewing, a couple of weeks ago, I bought a dress form and I was trying to figure out a name, and I had thought of Matilda. And the reason I liked Matilda was because there is Tilda fabric. And of course, Nathaniel loves the musical Matilda because he sometimes needs to be a little bit naughty. Imagine that.
Sometimes you have to be a little naughty.
Yes. And so I had thought about naming her Matilda, but I wasn't 100% sure. But then I had a brainstorm. My goal is, Mr. Naughty, to eventually sew something so beautiful out of Liberty fabric, which is very, very expensive. And so I have decided that my goal is to eventually get a Liberty fabric on my dress form, and as a, I guess, precursor to that dream, I am going to call my dress form Libby, so short for Liberty. And so Libby is my new dress form's name. Next plans for Libby are to hopefully finish off my green polka dot dress, and I would love to make a dress out of this material. So I have some sewing plans, hopefully starting soon, but there's never enough time to do all the crafts, is there, Nathaniel? Yes, there is. When? No. If you know when, please let me know. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks. Nathaniel has finished his tea and has decided to let me take care of my favorite things on my own. And this week, I did get some knitting done, although I did not get as much as I would have liked. I wasn't feeling 100% this week, and there was even one day I came home and went to bed at 4:30, so no knitting got done that night. And I did have some goals, though, so I did meet my goals for the week, and the first goal I shared in Material Girl, and that was to finish the Sally dress, so that is done. The other goal was to finish my Little Meg shawl, which is a shawl that Helen Stewart has designed for the Curious Handmade Retreat, which starts today in Cumbria. Wish I could be there. And that will be released, I think, sometime later this week or next weekend, so I'll be able to share it on the podcast once it's released. For now, it is on the blocking wires upstairs, waiting to be photographed, and it is lovely, and I can't wait to share that with you. The Little Meg shawl will be released probably next weekend, and I will be able to share it then. But until then, you might see a photograph on Instagram or on Ravelry if it's released a little bit early, but I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. And that was a shawl that I knit out of Artisan Yarns in their Geranium Trio colorway. I think last week I referred to it as another flower, but I can't remember which one, but it's Geranium Trio, which is a lovely reddish orange color, and it is a lovely shawl, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you very, very soon. Otherwise, what I got up to this week was mainly sock work. And this week, my Cyril socks, which are in my lovely Little Bobbins birdie bag, got a lot of attention. And I cast these on earlier this week. This is my second sock. And last night I turned the heel. So I am getting close to having a pair of Cyril Socks. And this is part of the Vintage Love Story collection that Nora George, who is Little Bobbins, has designed. And I am really looking forward to the next releases of these patterns because Cyril was a lovely, lovely sock to knit for sock 1. I'm very much enjoying sock 2, and I just find this pattern is just so beautiful. And I'm working with my Viola yarn, and this is my Viola sock yarn, which I love Viola sock yarn. And this is the Rose Gold Dust colorway, and it is so soft, and as I'm knitting away, I'm enjoying feeling the softness of Viola yarn in my hands, and I think I'm making pretty good progress. I expect that this will be done for next week's podcast, and I'm looking forward to sharing those with you next week as a finished object. So fingers crossed, I'm hoping to get that done in the next day or two. On Friday, I had a bit of a surprise cast on happen. Greg and I decided to go to the movies. It was his birthday on Friday, and we decided to have a date night, and we went to see Red Sparrow, which I will tell you is not a child-friendly film. And before we left, I thought, you know what? I'm going to try cinema knitting because, of course, I've seen lots of photographs on Instagram, and I've seen lots of podcasters talking about knitting in the cinema. I decided I was going to give it a shot. I grabbed my lovely Paris Bird Leg Bags rectangle box with the cute little pull on it, and just a perfect springtime box handle, very portable for the cinema. I grabbed my 2.25 millimeter Hiya sharps. I grabbed a Progress Keeper from Corner of Craft, and I grabbed some Knit Picks Felici yarn because I wanted something very simple that I didn't have to wind up before we left, and I thought this was a nice small ball. I could easily cast it on, keep it in this container, and hopefully get some good knitting done. Before we left home, I cast 64 stitches on. I did 1 round of twisted rib, and then we got in the car and started to drive to the theater, and I was able to get some of the ribbing done, and we grabbed a snack before the film started, and I got a little bit more, and when we got into the theater to start watching the film, I was right about there. So I popped on my Progress Keeper, and this is my fun little cloud from Corner of Craft. And someone pointed, I think it was Lorraine, pointed out to me yesterday on Instagram that it's sort of like the cloud and the rainbow, and I thought, what a perfect match. Although it wasn't planned, it worked out really, really well. And I was able, during the film, to knit from where the Progress Keeper is way up here to about here, just in the dark burgundy. And car ride home, and then a couple of rounds when I got home, I got to there, and I decided not to knit on this yesterday because I wanted to share my progress. Oh my goodness, this Knit Picks Felici, now I understand what everybody is talking about. It is so, so soft, and it was really fun to work with. I was kind of sad while I was knitting it not to be able to see the rainbow, but I'll tell you, as soon as the lights went up and you see how much you had done and the rainbow there, it was just so, so fun. So this will not be my last time cinnamon knitting, and I think I did a fairly good job. I do have one little error, which I had to pull out my lovely stitch save for when I got home. And I think on the ride home, because it happened around this section here, I picked up an extra stitch. So when I got home, I realized I had an extra stitch and dropped it down because there was also a funny catch stitch beside it. So let the one stitch off the needles, fix the catch stitch, and now I am back on track to continue working on my lovely, lovely striped socks. Now, these are a smaller sock than I usually do. I usually do 72 stitches. I'm trying 64 to see what the fit is like because I wanted to try and fiddle around with my own little vanilla sock recipe. And I said to Greg, I've cast these on your birthday. Would you like them as a present? He said no. I don't know. Anyway, I did say something to Isaac yesterday about Dad doesn't want these. And he said, I do. The thing is, Isaac has huge, huge puppy feet. So I'm not sure a 64 stitch cast on and all the rounds at 64 stitches are going to be big enough for him. So I'll have to maybe get him his own pair of Knit Picks Felici rainbow socks with the 72 stitches seem to fit him nicely because he's got really, really big puppy feet. But I am loving these. As I said, the Knit Picks Felici. Oh, I can't wait till they come out with some spring colors. I'm hoping they come out with some very soon because I think I need to get some more of this in my stash because it's really economical and so fun to knit up. So cinema sock knitting. I don't get to the movies very often, but I do see more of this happening in my future. I don't think I will wait until the next time I go to see a movie though, because otherwise these will probably never get done. The movie, it was good. Very graphic, but a nice Friday night out. And as I said, I felt very accomplished after I had finished the evening. You sort of felt like you had a little bit more to show than just seeing a film. So definitely something I will do again in the future. And it was a fun surprise cast on. I've been wanting to cast on some stripy socks for a few weeks now, and I finally done it. And I am really, really loving this project so far. The next two projects I'm going to share with you are both test knits. So I can share a little bit about each, but not a lot. This one, and these are both actually in my Yarn Magpie bags, and I just thought this was such a fun springy color. I saw my first robin this week. Actually, I saw 6 of them. They were all sort of hopping around digging up worms. I guess it had been a long flight. And so I had seen a robin in a tree in February, but it just didn't seem like that was the first real robin of the season. So I did see a real robin jumping around on the ground, and that to me was just spring, 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 spring. Anyway, I've grabbed this fun bag from Yarn Magpie, and I have some gorgeous yarn that I have chosen inside, and this is going to be the next Sock Society project. So other than the bag, I cannot share any more about it. I have chosen a perfect yarn as far as I can see. I got the pattern on Friday. I wound the yarn yesterday, and I'm very excited to get this one cast on. And the next one is also in a Yarn Magpie bag, my owl bag, and I can share a little bit about this. And this is a test knit that I am going to do for Jane of Hedgerow Yarns, and I am going to use this fun DK. Jane is coming out with a pattern for DK socks, and I have quite a bit of her DK yarn, and I've been looking for a great DK sock pattern. So I'm going to try her pattern out and test it and see how I like it. I will show my progress as I come along, and I just thought this one of a kind would be a fun, nice set of thicker socks, because you can always have a lovely pair of thick socks to keep your feet toasty warm, because sometimes those spring nights they get a little bit chilly. So I'm looking forward to getting some DK socks on the needles as well. So I'll get that pattern soon and get these cast on. So I was able to share this test. It's not so secret, but this one, secret for a little bit longer. I think it's going to be released in April. So my week is full of socks. Cyril, secret, and some fun DK. It is time for some brown paper packages, and while the mailman didn't bring me a lot, he brought me some really, really good stuff this week. And we're pretty much going right into the cone of silence for spoiler alerts, because everything I have to share with you this week is a spoiler alert. So unless you want to hear what I got from Scrumptious Pearl and Nora George, I suggest you run yourself out of the room screaming, whatever you've got to do, because we are going straight into spoiler alert time, and I'm going to share some lovely things with you. The first thing I'm going to share is from the Scrumptious Pearl Self-Striping Princesses Club, and that's a 6-month membership I signed up for. Last month I thought it was Sleeping Beauty, but it was actually Cinderella, and it was a beautiful pink and blue, and it was called Royal Table, and it was beautiful, beautiful. And we're going a little bit more Caribbean now, a little bit more aquatic, and this month's club is based on The Little Mermaid, and it is time to kiss the girl, because this is Come On and Kiss the Girl, and you can just hear Sebastian singing that "Come on and kiss the girl" in your ear as you look at this gorgeous, gorgeous self-striping gobstopper from Scrumptious Pearl. And yes, it is truly, truly scrumptious. I have to say that Samantha of Scrumptious Pearl has done a fabulous job with this colorway, and considering she is recovering from a major injury, I was surprised, at how quickly I did get this. I was expecting there might be a bit of a delay on the Princess clubs, but it is beautiful, and I'm certainly wishing Samantha a speedy and complication-free recovery. And this yarn, just amazing, amazing. The next spoilers I have to share with you are all from Tracy of Nora George Yarns, and they are the Great Characters of Literature clubs. So I have the minis, and then I have the full skein, and this month the clubs were based on The Sound of Music. And I, of course, love the minis because they are all based on the My Favorite Things song. So I have Raindrops on Roses, Whiskers on Kittens, Brown Copper Kettles, Warm Woolen Mittens, and these are here, brown paper packages. So just the perfect little mini set for the comfy red couch for sure. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. I might put them in my Bits and Bobs blanket once I get around to those, but I'm still dying to make a pair of, or two, of scrappy socks. So I think this collection of My Favorite Things would be a fun pair of scrappy socks as well. The next colorway is called Maria von Trapp, and it is a beautiful blue and pink, and it has a gorgeous pink mini with it. And I just think this is very precious, and I love Nora George Super Sock as well. What to make, what to make. I have no idea. But very pretty for sure. The final spoiler that I have to share with you is the February Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club, and it is called the Quibbler, and it is a fun one. It's got a mini as well. So this is the Quibbler with that gorgeous shot of hot pink and almost a greeny color in there. Just a fun, fun one. And then it has a black mini that goes along with it. So definitely a fun, fun skein of yarn for the stash. And again, I'm not sure what I'm going to, oh my gosh, make with this, but look at that gloriousness. Too fun. So I'm really excited to see what this will become. I'm just in a sock mood, so although it always seems such a shame to put something so beautiful like this on your feet, but I will figure it out at some point. But for now, those are all the spoilers I have to share, and that's all I've got this week on brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things: when the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad. It is now time to get serious. And it's been a while since I've done a True Confession segment, and this one to me is a bit of a doozy because I'm sharing something that I haven't really talked about to many people. I think there are about 6 people in the world who know about this. And today I just decided that it's something I think I'd like to put out there, maybe even just to sort of light a fire under myself. And I guess I've been playing a bit of yarn chicken, but not in the traditional sense. I have had this project in this bag for over a year, and it is a beautiful bag. I got it at Unit in Toronto. And as I said, I'm not playing yarn chicken in the traditional sense because I have lots of yarn and I will have enough yarn to complete this project. I've been playing yarn chicken in the fact that I guess I'm kind of afraid to complete this project because then I have to figure out what my next steps are. So this project is actually a design that I thought of and came up with last year, and I spent a lot of time last March working on it, and I like it, although there's a stitch that I don't like in the pattern that I've created, so I'm trying to figure out how to make it a little bit better. This is Viola yarn in the Ghost colorway, and you may remember earlier this year I gobbled up some yarn from Nora George and also from Hedgerow Yarns that had the Snowdrop colorway. And I got 2 skeins of each of their fingering weights, one on regular, one on sparkle. And the reason that I did that was because the name of my sock design is called the Snowdrop Socks. And this is my design so far. I did take a workshop with Kate Atherley earlier this year on heels and toes, and I was hoping to incorporate that in, and then over the summer break I was hoping to actually finish this pattern. It's now a year later and I have not finished this pattern. I have started writing it out, but I just have not taken it beyond this far. So I do have some ideas. I've been working on my vanilla sock recipe just to sort of get that, get a little bit more comfortable with heels and toes on my own. And let's just pop this on a sock blocker so you can see what the design looks like. So these are the Snowdrop socks, and there are 3 snowdrops here, and each repeat is divided by a lovely little line. And as I said, I started designing these last February. I spent a lot of time last March working on them. I'm not sure when I will ever complete it, but it is something I would eventually like to finish, just even if it's for my own feeling of accomplishment, because it's a little bit scary putting yourself out there. But each day I hope I get a little bit more brave. But this has been my game of yarn chicken, and as I said, I've got enough yarn to finish them. I just have to have the gumption to actually finish the design. I do need to figure out the spacing for the heel, and as I work on other just plain vanilla socks, especially the ones that I've been working on myself, I have my Slytherin socks. I've got my 2 pairs of La Belle et la Bête socks that I worked on a 72 stitch. I have just cast on a 64 stitch striping socks, so I am starting to feel a little bit more confident with my heels and my toes as well. I think my toes, I wasn't as freaked out about those as I was the heel. The hard part will be just the spacing between the repeats, but I will figure that out eventually, and then hopefully I'll get the second sock cast on. But that has been my big secret for the past year that has been hiding out in this bag that I have never shared on the podcast. So hopefully over the next little while you'll start to see some work on it. Kind of feels good to share that I've got this out there, but scary too. And this week, my Snowdrop socks That's my true confession. It's now time for some bits and bobs, and this is my segment where I don't usually talk about knitting, although because I do have a week off ahead, all my brain can think of is rest, relaxation, tea, and lots of knitting ahead. So I am hoping to work on lots of socks and hopefully not injure my fingers while doing them. I'm not sure whether I will actually get some time to work on my snowdrop socks. I mean, I could make the time to do it. I'm not sure whether I actually will or not, but we will see. Maybe I'll feel like that fire has been lit under me and I will maybe get some work done on it. I do have some work to do over the next week, even though I am on a week off. I've got lots of paperwork that I've got to go through. Oh well, I'll get it done. I'll break it down into chunks, and between sock patterns, I'll get some work done as well. Isaac is going to be working on his lifeguarding credentials this week, so he's going to be doing an NLS, that's the National Lifeguard Service, crash course. So he will be going from 9:30 to 6:30 Monday to Friday, and in the pool and doing CPR and first aid, things like that. So he'll be very, very busy and probably very, very tired at the end of each day and definitely at the end of the week. So hopefully he'll get his lifeguarding credentials and then he can maybe get a summer job at the pool. Nathaniel is probably going to go on a few trips with his daycare center, and so he'll have some fun with his friends and going to a few places. I don't know if they're going to Laser Quest or whether they're going to do the jumping on the trampolines, but I'm sure they'll do something fun over the next week as well. And me, I'm just going to enjoy sitting down with some tea and my knitting needles and my stack of paperwork, but it'll get done. And that's all I think I've got to share this week on Bits and Bobs. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast this week. I hope that you've had a chance to sit down, relax, refresh, take care of yourself while I've chattered on about some of the things that I've been up to this week and things that I'm hoping to get up to over the next week. I hope that over the next week that you too have a chance to relax and refresh, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Have a great week. Bye.
Welcome to the Comfy Red Couch with me and my mom.
Are you doing the intro today?
Yeah. Today we will be starting with tea time.
Soon. What kind of tea do you have today?
Rose lemonade.
Oh, what tea? What cup are you drinking out of? And what does it say on it?
Nathaniel.
Ah. So if I'm ever sick, does this mean you'll host my show for me?
Yep.
Wonderful. Now, it looks to me like you're drinking ahead of schedule, though.
Mm-mm. Oh, and if you can't see, the tea looks like red, so yeah.
So yeah. Okay. And what comes after tea time? Yarn.
Yarn, of course.
Of course, yarn.